New Eden. A galaxy made up of salt, broken relationships, and a $10 scam. A galaxy where you can get a happy ending, but only if you pay a little extra. A galaxy home to a podcast greater than the Catskill Academy, Trekcast, and Echoes from the Front combined. Live on Discord, it's the Echoes of New Eden podcast. We bring you the finest in little-known facts from around the galaxy since 2020. If it's almost news, we'll cover it.
The Echoes of New Eden podcast starts now. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. It is Echoes of New Eden. I am Taylor Rick. That's OC Can't Stop. That's Jubileus. It's the three of us today. There's no Rambo. Rambo is instead in Vegas watching the Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs live in Vegas. So enjoy the time out there, Rambo. We will do just fine here. Actually, we've got Damon Zell joining us late, so we've got a really big panel today. Let me fix the window here for the actual recording so we can see everybody, although we're just seeing title card kind of things for the most part, but I got my video finally on again. So we're back at it again. We got a big show, short big show, I'll put it that way. It'll only be about an hour and a half because I too would like to go and see the Kansas City Chiefs, but we're going to talk about anything and everything today all around New Eden. The community at large has had a lot going on during the month of October, and we've not been here really to cover it, so we're going to go over all of that today. We're also going to make sure to get all the updates from OC Can't Stop about Pravi. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a cage match fight between Damon and OC from Damon's last video where he besmirched Pravi. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see what happens, right? Where's the Jerry GIF anyway for the live feed? And, of course, Juby's here going to tell us in the first 30 minutes all about what Kraken's up to. But we'll see. I think Kraken and Spy are kind of having a little bit of a tit for tat here recently. Didn't Kraken's fleet get wiped by Spy, or was it the other way around, Juby? Inform me. Let me know.
It was an operation that lasted many hours. It was cat and mouse, like we're at the gates and then they're at the gates, and then suddenly there was an opportunity that we kind of jumped against the Spy fleet and managed to catch a Nestor and a few other battleships. And yeah, a Nestor is a very big deal because they have only two, so it's half of that. So
you killed half of their Nestors, yeah.
Yeah, so it was very good. It wasn't the most epic battle what I've played, but it was something. So yeah, I make videos.
Good. I'm glad you got something to make videos over.
Yeah, and at least Taylor, he gave me a thumbs up on the video, so it can't be a total shit video. Oh, my dog says hello.
Hello. I know what moral retention sounds like. What?
Oh.
Bradrick's going to give us a 3-page, 14-paragraph breakdown of what he meant by word salad. And it starts with moral retention.
One of his threads recently was really good, though. It was like an actual breakdown of everything that was going on. It was like a page and a half. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, now the dog earned it the rest of the night inside.
There you go. So what's up with the rest of you guys? Outside of Juby, we got an update from him. OC Can't Stop. How things are going down in Pravi?
Things are good. Are you guys going with the Damon video, or is this the contest stuff?
The Damon video.
Oh, okay.
The reference I made in my little opening quick little word salad thing was about the Damon video, and then your correction of Damon.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I don't really have all that stuff for here. I was waiting for the folks that left that are his sources to to come with their stuff. I mean, my short of it would be I guess for a while I've heard people be critical of his videos, but I've never really been at the center of one of those things until this time to see his process. So that would be like my experience with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anything. Like you see the process of his creative mind.
No. His process of how he takes in the information and then releases it on his videos on YouTube is what he's getting at. And that's what I'm referring to is the very last Damon Zell video, which was like 3 weeks ago, almost back when the last show happened. Notice the correlation here.
I didn't see it.
I'm just giving Damon shit.
I think Doomhead is right. His creative mind is definitely what I got from that, right? Because it definitely wasn't journalism that happened, right? I mean, the short of what happened, I mean, there's been stuff about probably posted incorrectly before the last few years, but we generally don't comment. And I just figure people don't give a shit to get it right, which is like, that's one thing. But I guess what surprised me is like when we're on the same panel, then I would expect like the stuff to be a tiny eensy bit more correct or like at all.
More on top of it. Gotcha.
Right, yeah. But it just kind of seemed like, I don't know, it just, like we had a video where, for folks that haven't watched the video, the TLDR is, I know I'm really like spoiling a lot of it, right? But
yeah, go
Providence doesn't really expand. I know this is something no one's ever heard of, right? So we had Corps that did that, and then they were told, no, we don't do that. And then one of them lied about why they were going to do it. So then there was a response, right? And then people got butt mad. And the guy that reached out to you, Taylor, I think my favorite quote from that guy shortly before he was blacklisted was, "I will not stand for this." Well, fortunately, this is a mobile game, so he can take his phone and he can sit with it in all different parts of his house. So he doesn't have to stand with it.
Speaking of the butt mad comment, you know the only difference between like a straight guy and a gay guy? Like it's like one of the only differences. The gay guy just likes butt sex a lot more. A lot more.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, all right, so
got him.
I've been waiting to tell that joke, and it was like a perfect time to put that in there. I don't know why, but it was just like it lined up. I've been waiting all week for it, and there it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Damon, you're muted. I don't know if you have joke or fact. I don't know, Ticketmaster. So I have two things with that. First and foremost, Damon, I don't know. Yeah, I know I just threw this out in the middle of whatever for you to have a discussion here, but if you want to unmute yourself and talk, if you've got time to talk, great. Let me know. If you're pissed off at me, whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. We're having fun here. No kink shaming of how we do the show. But I'm interested to get your feedback for OC as well on this. But the other comment, the other question I have anyway is, when you say Provi doesn't expand, what you mean by that is Provi doesn't expand outside of Providence itself, correct?
Sure. The only exception to that would be those catch systems we're in, which I think if you pull up a map, I don't think anyone would be confused to see why we're in those systems.
Yeah, because they're on the way down to the head gate and all that leading into low sec.
They connect the old Provi systems, and that was done before the jump gates. So, I would say like we're probably the slowest moving policy group in the game, right? Like we're pretty defensive. Our goal is to be neutral so that there's PvP on all sides of us, so ship v ship can happen. So that's kind of been the deal for years. The guy that started this whole thing, I mean, there's quotes of him explaining this was his plot. He knew it was against the rules. Then said his plan was to step down so his corp wouldn't get in trouble, and that's him talking to the guy near the corp. So I could see how that would be interpreted as a massive scheme to defraud people of soft systems and whatnot. But yeah.
Okay. Well, until Damon says anything else on it, I guess we'll leave that topic where it is until Damon's ready to discuss a little bit, and then we'll move on from there. What were you going to say, Juby?
I think Provi has this hidden huge force which will take over the Eve Echoes universe.
Come on.
No one can do anything. Everyone is just like pants down and like.
Okay, so
I can't hear Damon at all.
You ready for the real conspiracy? Taylor's from Pravi, Jacoba is from Pravi, and Mario's from Pravi. You see what's happening?
Yeah.
And some of AOA
Everyone
leadership is
is
from
like,
Pravi. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Somehow he was server
cultivating
muted,
this
so I unmuted him.
super.
I don't know, Damon.
Super-
You're
Can
not
you hear
mute-
me now?
Now I can hear you.
Can you
There
hear me
you
now?
are. Now I can hear.
Yeah.
That was weird.
So I guess I
don't know
was
why.
server muted.
I don't know why. That's weird. I didn't have you server muted.
Okay, so I guess so all the information I got from all the people who are still in Pravi did not want to become, made known because they said that they fear that they will be kicked out of Pravi. But if everyone thinks that I'm making this shit up, I will release everything, and then this will be the last Eve Echoes video I make since I'm going to be moving on to E Frontier. So if that's the case, then I'll release everything, because once I release this, no one's going to come to me saying you don't keep your sources anonymous anymore.
Well, no.
So I will release all
one's
the
asking you
information.
to release stuff and
The
bring-
way
and
the
bring your
information
sources.
was given to me, the way it's worded, I can't release it because the way they specifically word it with the key people. In other words, if I turn around and says, "Oh, it was told to me that," for example, one person was kicked out and was put under suspicion, because Pravi's going to know exactly who this is now if I go through the notes. Because they were friends with a pilot in Silent Federation, and they were friends with another person. I think in AOA, the person from Silent let the person in Pravi use the account because they were going on vacation, and Pravi leadership wanted them to go through that person's account, give them all the information on that person's account, where they've been, with their trading resources, all this stuff. And the pilot who was in this was say that he wasn't going to do this.
Damon, I just want you.
So I have 2 hours. I have all of this stuff information. Like I said, I'll release it all, and be damned with whatever.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that, dude.
I know, because you weren't involved in all the conversations. That's why when you were coming at me, I was like, you weren't involved in every single conversation that the screenshots that were given to me.
Does that sound like something that, just from what you've been reporting on, right? Like, does that sound like how we operate? Like, we'd ask someone for their account information to go through it? That sound like
transaction-wise, stuff like that. I think that's something that any leadership says. I've had several pilots come up to me saying that the leadership in Pravi do not want anyone mingling outside of Providence, which I think is weird anyway, because you mingle with everyone here on the show. So I don't really buy that. But
okay,
on the same instance, this is all the information that I was given, and I tried to put out the story with what I could release.
And you have screenshots that show that someone in Providence leadership was asking someone for account information?
Yes.
And that was someone in Providence leadership.
As far as I know, because I don't know who's all in leadership, who's not. But I will tell you what.
So you're not
right here. As what I can do is I can release all the information to you instead of putting it out there. I'll forward all the information that I have to you, and then you can go through it, including I think it was like a 3-hour interview or something like that through voice comms. But I'll give you all the screenshots, everything like that. But if retribution then comes to these pilots who are still within that, then we'll know that that's what happened. You know what I mean? I need your approval, saying if I release this information to you, you are not going to kick these pilots out of Pravi, out of the new homes, because they were relocated.
Well, yeah, I can definitely help you out there. So I'm not making that guarantee at all, right? Because you imply, so what you're assuming is that we don't know who's been talking, right? No, what you're talking about there, as far as like someone being told to share their account information, that's absurd, right? Like,
no, not the account, not their account information. They wanted them, since the person had access to their account. They want. Let me pull up the conversation here.
Okay, let me make a distinction here. People that spoke about a privileged call that leadership were in when leadership. Okay. Let me expand this conversation a bit. Let me make a real clear distinction. If a leader was asking someone for account information to verify shit, that's unacceptable, and no action would be taken against that pilot. If someone is in a call with leadership, and as a part of that agreement, it requires discretion, so that including their corp leadership, we don't have to take action against, and then they went and then started talking shit separately, of course they're not going to receive protection. And I can be way more specific about what I'm talking about.
Just trying to find this person sent me a lot of shit.
I'm sure it's a lot of stuff.
Sounds wild.
So anyway, so that's the clarification I would make. If you're talking about one thing that's totally unacceptable to us, sure. If you're talking about people that like they came in a good faith, made an agreement, and then breached the agreement, and you're asking me to have an agreement to treat them in good, like absolutely not, right? So
Yeah, it makes sense to me. That
by
part
the
of it
way,
really
in
does.
both instances with both of those parties, medical concerns were cited as part of why people were treated the way they were treated, right? So to then be throwing that in people's faces to then go public, yeah.
I don't even
So,
know what that means. What do you mean medical?
so like, I will let Damon continue.
Are they mentally
let's see.
unstable, or are they not able to handle PvP?
I'm gonna
Or
let Damon. I'm
they
gonna let
get
So
Damon.
flop
most of-
sweat when
most
they
of all
undock.
this-
I don't know what that
Let's
means.
see here.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Damon finish what he's doing,
Okay.
and then yeah.
And Damon, just to
Uh,
clarify, I'm not asking you to breach any sources or make it your last video or whatever else. I'm just trying to get clarification between the overall picture here. That's all.
Okay, so I guess I can release the pilot's name because that person is no longer. The person is no longer within Pravi. It was kicked out. The friend
Is
was
that who you're talking about?
here. Who?
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, but not the person who gave me the information.
Mhm.
Okay, so pilot
fuck
names
it.
is Zeppo.
Okay,
was
so all the
kicked
people
out.
that I was talking about was Zeppu, Jean. The source is actually someone that's still within Pravi, so I cannot release that name. Names here. But yeah, no. Basically, he had access to Zeppu's account. Leadership asked him. Siren leadership, not Pravi. Siren.
Siren? What is Siren?
Yes. Serenity. Sorry, I keep seeing CRN and things. Siren. Serenity. Leadership asked him to go into the account and basically find out what other transactions he was doing. They don't ask for his account details. They just want like the history of who he's been dealing with, talking to, everything like that, through his chats and everything.
Sorry.
It says here, should you mention leadership stance on such things? I don't believe Zeppu to be a traitor, as they put it, but the way he talked about his involvement in all sorts of things with Grays and his overall highly vocal attitude about other intra-political in-game things made it really easy for leadership to pin him as one. That's my best summary of what happened to him, in particular because he was hardly involved in the IMCO debacle. As you'll see, certainly had quite a history with leadership by now. So this was background on that person. And then he goes all into the IMCO stuff, including Jean, including other people. Like I said, there's a lot here. I can send it to you, but I'm going to black out the person's name who sent it to me.
Okay.
But there's also screenshots and stuff like that do contain other people involved.
Okay, just want to say this again, right? If you're sending me information and it contains information that shows that someone materially breached an agreement that they made and that they want to be treated in good faith, and your expectation is that they're not going to have any consequences as a result, I'm not agreeing to that. Outside of
So
that,
then we're at an impasse. So you basically saying that my information is false, but yet if I turn over the information, you're basically going to say,
no, David, I'm not telling you that people didn't send you information. That's not what I said to you in DM, dude. What I said to you in DM was that you could have asked for clarification about a few things. For example, when you said one of the things was made, a statement was made by Providence Council, that was posted on the SRN server, first of all, in their leadership chat. So that's, not only is that false, I mean, that's just fucking stupid.
Well, first of all, I never stated that was Pravi's statement. I said this was given. I said the statement that Pravi gave me was exactly what you sent me. The statement from Providence was, one, the mail leak was posted in the Echo's Discord seems to be explicit. I'm not sure if I can offer more clarity. Two, threats have not been exchanged while communicating with either of these corporations. It's not in our interest to have role changes while engaging issue. Three, no officer or line members were removed and labeled traitors. I'm not sure where or how these hypothetical traitors would have been labeled. Four, one member has been blacklisted from the coalition recently, almost as recently as this request from you. I've been present in all meetings and channels regarding the subject, have notes and timestamps. If I've said it isn't the case, I would deeply interested in seeing a screenshot or recording. And that's what I put down was the official Pravi statement. The other things, if you go through the video, was things that were sent to me. I didn't say it was an official statement. I said this was the announcement that was sent to me. I said the official Pravi
Right.
statement was exactly what I read off to you.
Right. What I'm
That
referring
was what
to
I
is
stated
later.
was the Pravi statement.
What I'm referring to is later, and we can go through the video if you'd like, where you're saying that there was a statement made by Pravi Council. It's from the SRN leadership chat. You had a statement made, right, when you're talking about people who are labeled as traitors. And this is just, you don't have to have a screenshot. You don't have to share one with me. Just, you have tons of content, right? So, like, where in Pravi Coalition do we label our traitors? You don't need a screenshot. Just, you have tons of information you've obviously poured through laboriously. So where does that happen?
I didn't go through the 4.5 hour interview or anything, but like I said, stated that I said this was what they were stated.
Sorry, did you say you didn't go through the 3 or 4 hour interview the guy sent you?
Yeah, I don't have that kind of time. I have a life and work and family, and my life does not revolve around Eve Echo's political drama.
Okay, I got you.
You just report it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know the feeling. I get the feeling, Damon. Okay, sounds like we can leave that where it is. So that was a nice update. Moving now to another bit of drama that's been going on for what feels like my entire fucking life as an adult in this game, EVE Online, or EVE Echoes anyway. We get back to an update on the btown situation. Oh my God, can you believe it? There's more information about fucking btown and Adam and Delve and who gives a shit at this point. However, this I find very interesting. The devs, and I've got this information from a reliable source, but I can't put it out there as far as who it is, so I'm stuck in that same position, Damon. 362 billion was sent back to Adam. This was on 10/23. And it looks like there was, on top of that, there was I forget what this was. If this is an EONE, maybe. There's a hole that was a super hole that was returned. I'm just reading through the notes. Devs have closed the ticket, by the way. btown's accounts are no longer unbanned. He doesn't have a single penny to any of his accounts, though. They stripped all of his accounts to get to the 362 billion. And it was there's something else in here, too. I guess most of other stuff that he has is still in asset recovery, close to 5 trillion worth of materials. So that's kind of you can still get that. I mean, to me, this feels both-sided. It feels like he's still got away with it. His accounts are unbanned. He's able to play the game. He's able to do what he wants. He still has a shit ton of assets. He just lost some cash and one super hole. Is what he lost in the process. So, and here's the other details from this. Following the heist prepared on, and I got this off of someone's server, following the heist perpetrated on Adam, a number of tickets were filed and submissions made to developers. The dev declared a breach of EULA. They declared a breach of EULA 4.1 and 4.2 regarding fair gameplay and unfair advantage, respectively. And that's why they imposed the ban, waited until they got some assets back, and boom, there it is. So that puts to rest, from my standpoint, the drama around btown, Adam, and everything else going on over in Delve. Any questions on that, guys? Damon, I don't know if you got any of that information from anyone either, but
I'd say it was an amazing story to follow. And
it went on for 42 fucking years. Yeah, it went on for the whole, it feels like it's been all year. It's only been since August maybe, but it was definitely a story.
And this is how it ended.
So he's not actually banned though, right? They just took the stuff back.
They took all they took was cash and one EONE hole. That's it. And he had already integrated that EONE hole apparently. I don't know how.
Ooh.
Yeah,
well,
like 4P70'd it or something, which is really stupid to do. I don't understand why someone 4P70's a fucking super. I'm sorry. Are you mental? I mean, do you not understand?
It makes a big difference.
It
makes a big difference.
You think it makes a big difference, but that's not. That's 3P80 is the way to go. Sorry, 3P80 is the way to go. So you go to 4P70, you're overthinking it and wasting money. So. Turkin, yeah, that's kind of what it is. I was told to look after the cash register, therefore all the cash is mine. btown.
I mean, it's about the
That's kind of that was his way to kind of make it okay or acceptable anyway when he was on the podcast here with us. I feel like, but it's all. This is Eve, right? This is what makes Eve great. Is there should be this? It should be a wild, wild west. Very few rules, as they say, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with this whole. They have shit in the EULA that makes, hey, you gave me hangar access and I took things out of the hangar and I didn't give it back, and that somehow is a bannable offense, or you get to take the shit. Like, I'm sorry, you fucked up and gave somebody access you shouldn't have. But I get the one part that Adam did make initially in the podcast, which was there is a director role that you can assign that then inadvertently means that they can assign those roles or permissions back to themselves without anybody else's permission.
Yeah.
Like, that part I understand is a little bit of a, oh, yeah, that's not right. But you fucked up and gave him the director role. So, anyway, that's my update on the... there we go. There's a biggie Rick fucking... Goddamn. Exactly, Dirk. Everybody should be giving me director roles. I have multiple alts that I can go put in Pravi and over in Kraken and Trog. Anyway, any questions on that side? Any comments from the audience about the last little story on btown? So we have an update on Pravi. We had an update on Delve. We had an update on Kraken. I'll give a quick update on Silent, and we've gone around the horn, right? I mean, is there anybody else that matters? Correct. Yeah, that's it. So nobody else matters.
Oh my God.
I got no comments, so I mean, it must be true, right?
You just gotta move on.
Isn't that in a debate? Isn't that how that goes? Silence is compliance. I don't know if anybody remembers their high school and college debate rules, but anyway, silence means yes. Yep. So, quick update on Silent. We've go ahead. Go ahead, Juby.
Yes, because time is running out.
Oh yeah, you're about done. You gotta go.
I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do a small sales pitch kind of thing.
Go for it.
So, hello everyone. I'm Jubileus. I make Iveco's videos.
It's not a speech. You're
have
pimping yourself.
Duo Omega.
You're pimping yourself on my
Duo
show.
Omega
What are you
giveaways.
doing?
Here is my fan club. Go join that. Yeah, and yes, thank you.
Okay.
Support Yubi.
Go pick on go pick on Spy for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe Spy, maybe something else today, but we shall see. Something. It's today. I need to go very soon, but yeah,
All
Rambo's song. That's a good one. The country one. What it was the name? Until I get a kill mail or what it was.
Yeah. Post a kill mail if you get one today. Post it up here if you get one. We all want to see you get a kill mail.
Yeah, I'll show it.
All right, so no, quick update on Silent. Obviously, there's been a little bit of a war going on with Meow. There's really nothing new to report there. It's not like it's a stalled thing. I think in the last 3 weeks, we've done, without calling a single CTA, we've done 2.7 trillion worth of damages to Meow and killed 63 to 64. I forget I've lost track of the outpost. I think it's 63 to 64 pauses that we've killed in Meow space in the last 3 weeks. And that's just Silent Alliance. That's not
In how long?
Yeah. So, and there's been not a single CTA called for that. It's just been
How long is that though?
3 weeks, just the last 3 weeks.
Shit.
Yeah. Not bad. We're testing out a couple of new ways in terms of how we operate, and I was extremely pleased with how that came about. So anyway, no other updates from that though. I mean, there's no big battles for individual systems or anything like that. When you don't call CTAs, you don't tend to get giant battles. But yeah, exactly, Broderick. Exactly. So, well, bot 5, obviously. When I say Silent Alliance bot 5. CRB had a few times when they came in and helped out for a few different things, but none of that was coordinated. Literally no coordination. It was just like, oh, there's CRB. Hello. Didn't know you were going to be here. And Trog has been doing their own thing as well. They've been basically lighting a fire on one specific section of the map, and I'll let Trog talk about that if they want to, but they've been doing good work too. With that, that's it. I think that's it for like the community news we've missed over the last 3 weeks. Is there anything else there that maybe's come up that I don't know about that I've missed? I don't think so. I think that's kind of the bulk of the community news for the last couple of weeks. end of the btown saga, the Pravi stuff. Kraken throwing out Navy issue fleets in Fountain for no fucking reason, but they did. Okay, that's it. Cool, let's move on to the patch notes. I'm just going to roll right through this. This will be great. So, on the patch notes side, let me pull these up because this was a very interesting update. And there's kind of a lot more there than what you probably... Oh, shit, I think I just closed the tab. Damn it. And Damon did make a mention, too, about eFrontier, which I do want to have a comment about here at the end of this before we call it a day. All right, patch notes. Patch notes from 1023, 120-minute update, and they released surprisingly new ships. Now, if you recall, God, when was that? It was the anniversary. It was in August, but I don't know if it was like the first major anniversary patch. But it was like that first or second week in August. We got hints, and we got some sort of a weird release over on the Chinese website for the Chinese server about new tactical ships coming into the game. And we'd even seen some details about those ships, enough to where it looked like they were going to release the real tactical ships from EVE Online. Protus, I forget the four names because I've never flown those ships in EVE Online, but Protus was one of them. But there's basically the four factions have their own tactical cruisers. And it looked like they were going to release those. In fact, in the thing they put on the Chinese server, it looked to be like 50 to 60 some odd ships that they were going to, Proteus, Loki, and Tengu. I knew I was going to think of the Tengu there after a minute. One of those things like you just wake up at like 4 a.m. and now you know the name. Yeah, those. And Juby just dropped, so see you later, Juby.
Oh.
And of course, they put the kibosh on that. And even though I want those 4 ships and I want to see what all these other ships were that they were going to release were like, I'm glad that they did, because the building mechanics for it were fucking stupid. They were really, really bad, which is why the Chinese server rioted over it and they canceled it. Now, they still had moon mining coming out. Well, it wasn't you die, you lost skill points. It was if you lost that ship, you literally had to rebuild that ship again. I don't think, was it SP or was it just rebuilding the ship?
He means from EVE Online, the
of
original
course.
version you did. The first version you did, not later.
Of course. Yeah. Right. So anyway, no. So they killed all of that, but they still released moon mining, right? And so now we've got these huge moon mining operations that have anywhere from 208 to 280 rocks that spawn when you put this thing out there. It takes forever to clear them. They're a little bit of a pain in the ass, and there's very little that you can use the moon material for. Like up until now, there's very little that you can use that material for until they release these 3 ships. Now, granted, there was a little bit of stuff in there that you could use it, like enriched uranium if you refined it down. And the raw ores were used to make Marzios, for instance. But if you mined one belt, then the material you needed that went towards the Marzios was enough to make like 300 fucking ships. So the amount of material there and the amount of time didn't really... There was something missing. Like this material that's coming out of that has to have a bigger sink. And these other ships that they were going to introduce went away. And so now they're kind of backpedaling and throwing in some new ships that you look at it on paper and they make sense, but when you really dig into them, they make no fucking sense whatsoever. And the first and foremost of those is the Marshal, which, of course, this episode is going to be called Marshal Matters because we're going to be talking about the Marshal a lot today. But there's 3 ships. There's the Pacifier, which is the frigate. There's the Enforcer, which is the cruiser. And there's the Marshal, which is the battleship. Let's start with the first 2, the Pacifier and the Enforcer. The Pacifier is an advanced covert ops, in addition to having a high analysis success rate and the ability to rapid construct spatial rifts. It is a specialized mid-slot that can fit with a sniper or repair tactical module, making it adaptable for various battlefields. Now, when you read the first thing there about the Pacifier, take into account their Concorde ships, but you look at how they can put different tactical modules in, doesn't this remind you of what they were going to do with tactical ships just in August, and they threw it out? It does.
Well, I mean, that is still their plan, though. They're trying to turn all the special modes into modules and do like a tier side thing where they collapse the hulls, right? So, which I think would be awesome for PvP, right?
Oh, I totally agree, and I want tactical ships, and I want to be going up against a ship, and you don't know exactly what they've got fitted, so you don't know exactly which ship is able to do what. Same thing on my end in terms of when I'm forming a fleet. I want the same type of thing. I think all that's good, but this is kind of like their start to putting some of those ships back in. So it sure seems like there could be a lot more ships coming that these tactical modules then get applied to. Moving on to the Enforcer, it's an advanced covert recon ship that can be fitted with a covert ops cloak and a sinusoidal field generator. I'm pretty sure the Pacifier can put a Sino on it as well, even though it doesn't say that in the stats. I think someone maybe double check me on that, but I thought someone told me that it could. Excelling at quickly approaching targets and intercepting them using a warp drive. In addition to sniper and repair tactical modules, it can also fit the rapid firing or defense tactical module. So your Enforcer, kind of like a Fiend, basically, can put that defense tactical module on it if you want. Can be covert ops and be a Sino, which a Fiend cannot. So obviously a Fiend is a different ship with a little bit different use case, but the Enforcer seems to kind of want to straddle that line a little bit. Nanocores and implants make sense. They do, actually. Bradrick, they do. All three are covert ops. Yes, they are. All three are covert ops. And I don't think the Enforcer itself is overall super tanky from the stats that I've seen on it. But anyway, it's an interesting ship. I'm getting one when I unlock that level here next couple days or whatever, and then I'll play around with it some more. But I don't know about the Pacifier. It's not really my game. Anyway, Marshal, though, however, is an interesting ship. It's an advanced covert ops battleship equipped with various cutting-edge technologies. It can detect sinusoidal fields and jump, so it's not just it can light sinos, but it can also jump to them as well. It has defense, warp, interception capabilities. It's also specialized mid-slot that can fit everything, basically. It can fit all 81 of the 6 tactical modules that are in the game so far, because there could be more. Sniper, repair, rapid fire, defense, siege, and citadel tactical modules, which is the ones that only go on bombers up until now. Thanks to advanced electronic warfare technology, the Marshal can be fitted with a shield field inhibitor or armor link disruptor, effectively limiting the defense tactics of the enemy. These things do not stack, but you can put both of them on one Marshal and use them both at the same time. But they do not stack. So if you have 4 Marshals in a fleet and they've all got shield field inhibitors, you're not going to be able to get any kind of stacking ability from all 4 of those. 41.7 million EHP, 100% resists on what? The Enforcer? Or is that is this your post you made on the Marshal? Yeah. I got to scroll back up there and see that. Can you just repost that, Sarah? I can't really scroll because I know you put that right at the beginning of the show, but I want to cover that and just have that pulled up and look at it while I'm talking. So you get all of these from btown counting as cash. Okay. You get all of these from the store. It's not going to show up on the recording, but I'll leave it like this. And yeah, geez, defense, 41 million. Yeah. That's a hell of a lot for a battleship, for shit's sake.
That's pretty tonk.
100%. That's got to be with the DCU turned on.
I'm guessing because they're kind
Has to
of
be.
light.
Your offense is extremely low, only 400 DPS. That seems really, really low. Everything on implants, cores. Yeah.
Oh, is this 45 tack as well?
Well, it's a he's got rails on it, so I think that's HPC, but that's pretty low on the DPS, only 396. But yeah, you're just making it a tank, and it doesn't have the other modules on there either. But if you're just making it a tank to okay, that's one that I think is probably more practical. 3.85 million hit points. I don't know if the DCU is probably not on. 96 across the board resist. 2200 on the DPS. It's got the shield inhibitor on it. A little bit more practical fit from the shield standpoint and the resist standpoint with 2 extenders. I don't know about the extenders. That's not me, but DCU on. Okay, defense mode. Okay. So that's where you're getting defense mode. You're getting the boost there, but you've also got a DCU picked. Yeah, so gotcha. All right, then we've got one that Yukai posted. Yeah, those stats aren't quite as good, but more in. I'm more of a resists, no actual tank of any kind, because you're gonna have something with it, like a. You're gonna have to have something with it for repping it, Logi of some kind. There's an enforcer with almost 10,000 on the DPS. Jesus, there's a surprise in your face. Yeah, they do give more shield HP. Yeah. What's this one here? 2 point. I can barely see that in that Z Killers. Blow that up or crop it or something and post it. But so the interesting thing about these, before we even get into like the modules, those 2 new modules, because we do need to have a conversation about that. But there's some interesting things that kind of come up with all 3 of these. If you wanna build these, you can. Right, so you don't have to buy them with cash in the store, and from day one you can build them. Okay, technically, and I say technically with a grain of salt. Right, so the blueprints are all available for them. I'm pretty sure all. Yeah, I think I double checked that. All of them are available in the new militia store for faction warfare, which did get an update. We're gonna have a conversation about that if anybody's done the new update or if it's really made any reasonable changes to faction war. They looked good on paper, so we'll discuss that too. But it's more than a vast level of manufacturing costs. So, I can't really say on the Pacifier and Enforcer because I didn't do a deep dive into their manufacturing, but I 100% did on the Marshal. So, remember in the beginning of this conversation, I talked about the moon mining materials and needing a reason for them larger than what we already had. Well, here comes the Marshal. The number of intermediate materials, which is classified as is classified as a polymer in this game, underneath the skills anyway, and even on the market, you can see intermediate materials. The amount that's needed, you need to mine anywhere from 30 to 40 moon belts, reprocess them, to then have enough to build one Marshal battleship.
You're talking about just for the raw inputs to craft?
On the intermediate materials, yes. The hexite, the floor, all that new stuff. You need somewhere between 30 to 40 moon belts mined to get enough.
And that's 40 times the 8 mil M3 belts.
Yeah, then you got a 25 bill button push, for God's sakes. The button push on this thing's 25 bill, which is insane.
That's my favorite part, right? Like, there was no in between. They went from 5 bill click cost for a super. There's the one heavy integration siege module thing, which is 25 bill, and then just this bad boy. They just were like,
Yeah, I don't. I understand if you want to make something that's rare and you don't want it to be everywhere. You don't want it. You don't want everyone to have like 5 of them. But I think there's better ways to go about doing that for something like this than making the blueprint 10 million loyalty point numbers. Things just to get the blueprint. It's 10 million of those LP, right?
For context, too, like the limit before this was 4 mil.
Well, that's actually incorrect. I got some clarification on that. It says that, but when you level up, that limit opens up.
Oh, it goes up. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, when you level up on your LP and get to those other levels, that limit opens up. So it doesn't really, that part actually isn't a problem. I know I saw that going around. I talked to Cloud about it. And so that's not really an issue. But your issue number one, if you want to make one, is to go and get that blueprint from the militia store, and that's 10 million loyalty points. That's going to take you, I forget what somebody did the math on that in terms of how many loyalty points per hour, and it was something stupid like 600 hours or something. Someone correct me on that, but I didn't get into that side of it because I think that's ludicrous. Wild. They'll just be on the market, but they'll be on the market for a ton of money, obviously. But on the other side of it, though, just getting the material to craft it takes that much of the stuff from the belts. But even on top of that, let's say you have 2 tunes that are skilled 555 on the polymers. You personally, you have 2 tunes that both have that skill, and you have 10. Yeah, look at that shit. And you have 10 slots open on each one, so that's 20 slots. Guess how many days it takes just to craft, even if you had all that material on hand after you did 40 fucking belts. It's 46 days worth of building on 2 tunes. 46 days just building, constantly building those intermediate materials for that. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So it's way out there in terms of buildability and any kind of reliability in terms of being able to get a hold of one. So unless you've bought one, which is of course what they're doing here, they're specifically pushing you to go and buy the ship, right? They're just go buy the ship, which is I think $180 to get them out of the box. By the time you go through having to get, if you don't get one luckily in an earlier one, you just you just better just go buy one out of the box. So the first one that died in the first couple hours after the patch update. It was 138 bill kill mill. It died in Pravi. There's some funny things around that. It was supposed to be it's a ship in a box. It was supposed to be like a friendly duel or whatever, but yeah, it's I would expect this to get nerfed though, because here's the other part before we even get into the Marshal and is it worth it or not, because it's worth it in only a few cases. If you were to take how much of this intermediate materials from moon mining is needed on a frigate, on the pacifier, compare that to what's needed on the Enforcer, and compare that to what's needed on the Marshal, and call that your scale between frigates, cruisers, and battleships, and then applied that to a carrier, and then applied that to a super on the terms of scale, and then applied that to a Titan, you're looking at 6 months, 30 guys, nonstop cooking in order to get through all of that for just the cooking side for a Titan. The number of belts needed would be 10 times. You're like 400 or 500 belts or something like that in order to get enough shit. So, yeah, exactly. Marshal's over in EVE Online. Totally different. Totally different. So I don't know what kind of implications that level of scale for those intermediate materials has in terms of Titans, but it kind of makes me a little worried that when Titans do get released, which right now betting odds would be the Chinese New Year. I don't think it's not happening this year. I'm very unless they release Keep Stars and Titans at the same time, it ain't happening this year. So it does look like the Chinese New Year at this point. And if that scale holds, then there is no way anybody will be able to build a Titan, even if you're stocking and building those materials right now by the time they release. Obviously, Keep Stars first. We all know that. But, yeah, they could do both at the same time, btown. You never know. They could be dumb like that. But even if you started building those secondary materials, the intermediate materials right now, you wouldn't have them done by February 1st. It's like 6 months of time.
I mean, that's assuming they don't add something new, which I wouldn't make that bet either. You might be building something and then you're overcommitting. So
yeah, and you don't want to just turn around and say, "Well, fuck it, throw them at the Marshals or something." But that would be stupid too. It's too much. But yeah, so I mean, things are still very much up in the air there. Although I would say that for those that have been doing moon mining and saying, "What am I stocking this stuff for? And what is it going to come into play for? And does it really matter? And it's a lot of time. And the materials are stupid on the market and not a whole lot of use for them." Well, just get ready for that. So, all right, so let's talk about the Marshal's capabilities. Obviously, with some of the things we've seen posted here, they are extremely capable ship. If you outfit them right, you're going to have high DPS along with very, very high estimated hit points for the hull itself, for the ship itself, in comparison to other battleships. I don't have firsthand knowledge of how well that shield inhibitor or that armor link works, but it is just an inhibitor. It doesn't shut it off like SP30 can. So someone give me an idea on that if you've tested it. How well does that work? Is it a nominal decrease to their resists, therefore an increase to your DPS, or what? I don't have answers to those questions yet. I haven't had don't have one. Not spending the money on it because that's a waste. I'm saving my money for a Titan.
Did we find out how much IP it is to resurrect one of these things?
I think
lot.
it was 16. It was 16,000 for the Marshal in that kill
Yeah.
mill.
Yeah.
But that's including the fit, so it should be a little bit less because it has that roll bonus for minus 25%. So it should have been 20K.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Darkblade, I'd love to do a little bit of quick testing against a Nightmare or something and a Nestor, just to see what it does to the armor link. That'd be great. Yeah, so I mean, there's more testing required. It's better against a Nestor, okay? I mean, regardless of what it takes to build this thing, regardless of what it takes to get a hold of one and field one, and even though those modules look to be expensive on the militia store and will be very expensive on the market for quite some time, I still think they're going to be an added addition to just about every major fleet. Any fleet that knows they're going to be going up against armor or shield, any fleet period is going to want to wind up having at least one in their arsenal. Obviously, protect the hell out of it, but it's an EHP sink. So if it's fitted right and you've got things there to protect it, it's going to take an awful lot to kill it, and everybody will focus that. But yeah, exactly. You'd be silly not to include it in your fleet at this point. If someone's got one, throw one in there. But that's going to be a very difficult thing to SRP. That's a capital.
Yeah, but in the panel's eyes, right, and the audience's eyes, because even after the prices have come down, on this thing, it's still relatively, at least the last time I looked, still relatively about the same price as a Dread. Is it worth the ISK?
I mean, it depends on like who we're asking the question of, right? Like it's because there's gonna be different people, right? It's just like supers, right? There's the ratting super hell that rats by himself till he falls asleep and dies, right? So I think here, if you're talking about like what Taylor's talking about, where like this is your guy and he's on, that's a completely different situation than one guy who's like he's in a war zone just grinding merits or whatever the fuck, right? Like that situation where like the guy's your guy and he's tanked and he's there he comes in at the right time to turn off armor modules. That's a drastically different situation if you can keep that guy up, especially if you time the bomb.
In a fleet situation,
would it behoove
alliances to say purchase one with the alliance money? Like, okay, this is the alliance for fleet things, and then designate a specific pilot. So this isn't your ship, belongs to the alliance. Therefore, no one's super pissed if it eventually dies. I'm saying, except for the alliance holders.
Yeah.
But do you think it would behoove, like, say Silence, say Kraken, say, you know what, we really should get one of these just to up our game in our fleet PvP?
I mean, I'm not saying that that's the way that I would do it instead of Silent, but I would say that when it comes to fleet battles, for its particular role, it's the only ship that can do what it's going to do. And I would think every major null block fleet would want to have at least one or two in their fleet. However they go about doing it is up, anybody's guess. But yeah, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
I don't think people approach financing differently, right? Like, there's a difference between, you may not want to pay for the ship. You may, like, for some of my guys, some of my people, I'll pay for their ship, but for some of them, I'll say, hey, if we need you in a fleet and you get blown up, we'll have a conversation, right? Some people, it's, one of them could be a better deal than the other for both parties, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and for sure, everybody's got whales. Everybody's got whales, but...
Well, I mean, especially since it's easier just to get one out of a box these days than actually building things.
So what's funny is like the box cost is what everyone's focusing on, but the value really is that the IP is actually very reasonable, because if you look at the things going into that price, they're off in some cases by as much as 30%. So that IP price is going to come down, not half. But
I mean, it's even got a stat that lowers the IP cost, and it's still way the fuck up there.
Right. Yeah.
I think the building on these things gets nerfed at some point. I think what it takes to build these gets nerfed. Maybe it won't take as long as what it took the Science Seas building to get nerfed, but I'm willing to bet that they will. Are they on the market right now? Like how much? Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much a Marshal is going to deter somebody else, but from trying to engage you. But I think it's a change. I think it's a little bit of a game changer from, oh shit, we better focus on killing that thing. Hit one bill off the button cost. No, I mean like on the materials, those intermediate materials. That's way too much. 40 fucking moon belts worth of materials is insane.
I think what you're likely to see, just as likely as the blueprint reduction, is you'll probably see new corp tech and ancillaries next year.
Oh, for
Just
sure. There's
based
going
on
to be new
just
corp
based,
tech and ancillaries. Yeah.
just based on trends, right? Because
Yeah.
we're at corp 7, right? And
Yep.
the levels start doubling, right? So they're gonna
256
have to
bill
put
to unlock that, though. Good fucking lord.
right. But my point though is they're gonna have to put something virtually not optional at T8 and above. And I mean that maybe you'll even have an IP bonus. If you IP it in the station, you pay less IP or something.
Oh God, could you imagine? See, one of my biggest things that upsets me about this game is that the add-on structures you can't really kill. I can't just go and focus and kill someone's add-on structure.
Yeah, they have to adjust how the hull versus the regular bonus works to your point. Like that needs a little.
Yeah, but I mean, like if they would introduce a add-on structure that lowers your corporation's IP cost when they insurance something back, but that's also you can also blow that up. Like talk about some fun. Talk about some fun.
Oh, that's a lot of ping pong. Like
that'd be hilarious. That'd be great, man. Talk about the fun that would have.
Find another structure
We're
and
gonna
IP
go
it.
and target your nesters. Then we're gonna blow up your ancillary structure before you can IP them.
That'd be amazing because you'd be like yelling, "Don't pot him!"
Exactly. Do not hold him. We're gonna have another. What's his name? Wild Nigel. Hold him here. Don't just hold the ship. Don't kill the ship. Just hold the ship. Wait until we've blown up all their ancillary structures, then blow up the damn ship. With every capital as well. Every single capital. As soon as you got the capital tackled, go and defang it or whatever, and go find their fucking. Oh, that'd be great. Anyway, back to the ship. I guess is there any of these Marshals on the actual market right now, and what are they going for? Can anybody look that up real quick and post that for the live chat? I'd appreciate it if you could.
Yeah, I can look.
I'm curious what they are. 80 what? 80 billion? Or just saying something. I don't know if you're saying something else. 80 bill. Yeah. Okay. That's that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not what I would have expected.
That's not as bad. Yeah, they were as low as 69 2 days ago. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's not bad compared to $180 versus 80 bill. I mean, damn, if they were 69 a few days ago, I should have bought one. I got the ISK. Well, yeah, I got the ISK liquid. Yeah, I do.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal for someone buying it for USD as well.
Yeah.
That's
Equinox
actually
2.0's got the money. That's right, Dirkadur.
Like that's actually a really good deal for USD.
Yeah, they're not that they're not quite that fast btown, but their speed is still pretty good though, because I believe I saw somebody had an enforcer with no aux rigs on it at 6.5 6,500 meters a second already, without even putting the aux rigs on it yet. So these things are fast. I think they're fast enough compared to the speeds that we have. So, but Cloud said they might be adding that roll to them. That would be hilarious. Jesus. Speed while cloaked. That's crazy. Although I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting ship. All right, the two modules. We talked about the added 2 module types, tactical disruptors that require advanced electronic warfare to use. Only fitted the Marshal. We talked about these, the shield field and the armor link disruptor. We talked about them not being able to be stackable. You can manufacture them with blueprints in the militia store. I don't know what those points are. I forget. I want to say it was 1 million, not 10 million, but it was like 1 million maybe LP points in the militia store to get them. So not horrible. That's still a decent amount, but not horrible. Not like the ships are. Maybe it was more than that. I forget now. But when I looked at it, I didn't think it was too bad. And I know they're already on the market, built and being sold. And I didn't think those prices were anything too crazy, 20 bill or something like that. That's a lot for a module to put on a battleship, that's for sure. But then again, for what it's doing, and the only thing that can do it, I get the wanting to make it somewhat rare. So, a battleship warping cloaked. Okay. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about this. They did add a new rig for carriers. We got the carrier buff that we've all been asking for quite some time. For the longest time, Dreads were getting updates. Then, of course, Lancers got updates. And then, of course, Supers got a new rig. And Vax got like a buff every other week, it felt like, for the first half of this year. Or actually, like 3 months last year, towards the end of the year, and then the first 3 months of this year is when they were doing all those buffs. Finally, the Chimera, Nidhogger, Archon, Thanatos, and Cyan all got huge buffs this week. It's a light fighter siege modification, 1 through 4. There's 4 versions of them, much like that is for the VAC. And they have very, very good additions. It's plus 25% on the defense or something like that, and it's also additional offense. So it's both on the defensive side and the offensive side that they buffed them. So, yeah, don't say Nidhogger 5 times too fast. That could go very, very bad for you. We'll still die to a Mega Striker. Yeah, probably will. Probably will. But that doesn't mean it's not a much-needed addition. And it's not overpowered. From even looking at some of the... I saw a Cyan stat with 50,000 DPS now, but it also had 4.6 million EHP. So that's a nice Cyan. The like a Nidhogger isn't going to get up to those kinds of levels. Now, a Chimera might actually get up to those kinds of levels on the defense side, but not on the DPS side anyway. Good addition, about time, and I like the way they did it with making an additional rig slot. It's on the engineering side, and it's a 4th slot, just like it is for the VAC, and even on the Super with an additional slot that for those heavy fighter siege modifications. And they only have 1 version of that, whereas the carriers get 4 versions. So they're expensive, but they're not horrible. They're not bad, so I like it. In addition, they did a drone control combat update, which, oh my God, they finally... This is an update where they gave us a whole bunch of things that we wanted, but then we regret some of the things they gave us, like a Marshal. But everything else seems pretty on balance. A very, very good update, out of the blue update, really, because now we can return all fighters. So in your carriers and your supers, you can return everything like you would on a salvage drone or like mining drones where you got to return all. Now you can do that on your carriers and your supers, which is... nice. And when some people were reading this, they were concerned that when you do a return all, I think it even says here, return all, issue the return command to all drones in space, instructing them to start flying towards the mothership. Once within the return range, they will attempt to return automatically. The return command will not be interrupted by other commands. I think people were worried that once you sent them out, if they're 200, 300 kilometers away, and you're trying to get them to return, and now you need to issue another command to get them to attack, that they won't do that. You have to wait for them to return first. I have not noticed that on mine. I don't have a problem with them all returning and then turning around and getting them to do something else. I don't know if anybody else has had that issue, but I don't. It words it like that's going to be a problem, but I haven't seen it in reality. So anybody can update me on that if they've seen issues with it. Otherwise, a good addition, one we all wanted. Good quality of life update. Let's see if Chris has got a comment here from Kylo. Haven't talked to Chris in a while. Kylo used to be up north with us. Now I have no idea where Kylo is. What's Kylo up to these days? Give me an update. You guys still over down in Catch or something, or part of Kraken now maybe? I've kind of lost connection with where Kylo's at. I probably have lost face with Kylo, but anyway. Freudian slip. I'll wait for his response, but I'll keep going. Combat value display update. I didn't even notice this in the patch notes when I was reading through everything earlier this week. And then, of course, when the game got updated, I see these like random yellow and green things flashing up that flash up so damn fast in the middle of the screen that I don't even know what the hell they were for. And then I had to go back and read the patch notes to even understand what the hell they are. But it's numerical displays for shield, armor, and structure repairs, including self-repair modules, remote repair modules, and implants. Added capacitor restoration, energy loss and transfer, and energy neutralization displays, including capacitor warfare modules and implants. So you get this shit that pops up in the middle of the screen, green and yellow, telling you about a loss or a gain of your cap, or a loss or a gain of your shields or your hit points on armor and whatnot. And it goes by so fast, it doesn't even really make any sense. There's no there's no I don't know. There's no counting unless you're taking screenshots and looking at it while you're trying to play the game. You're not really going to see those fast enough to understand what the hell just happened. But maybe there'll be a patch for that to slow those down a little bit. Otherwise, they scroll by way too fast. But then again, it feels to me like when you're doing like a CNDET or a CTR, and you're seeing numbers flash all over the damn screen. There's a little bit too much going on. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but it's a little bit too much going on. So it is handy to know when you're getting neuted. So, Chris is down south of Crack. Okay, cool. It takes a little bit of gist to you, but there's a lot on the screen, man. There's a lot on the screen. No, you can't turn it off. It's just there. There's no. Well, I haven't looked at the settings in game to know that for sure, but I don't think so. Otherwise, I would have turned off the bounty ticks and all the other damage. I don't need to see any of that shit. I just turn all that off. But anyway. Sleeper Relics update, which is basically the faction warfare stuff. That's been extended to December 31st. That initially was supposed to end. The whole faction warfare systems and war was supposed to be done by now, if not soon. Yeah, I don't like the Concord pop-ups either, and I really hate the damn wallet pop-ups. I wish I could turn that off too. But now it goes to December 31st. So we got some additional time to play, although I don't think anybody really cares too much. Or do these does this update change things for you? So the Sleeper Relics are now changed to a 2-level structure. Activating the acceleration gate on the first level will warp you to a random location near the beacon on the second level. Large, medium, and small ships correspond to 3 types of relics and can no longer activate gates smaller to their own tonnage. So I'm pretty sure that means you got to warp into one of these places next to the beacon in order to start earning loyalty points. Is that my correct understanding of it? You can tell I haven't done any of this. I don't do faction warfare. I don't have time for that. Survey says no, so you can still get the LP points without that, or what? Oh, no, you're talking about the question from Bradrick, yeah. So then it says, and I think that means that you can't get a super into that beacon anymore. You can't get the heavy capitals into those areas anymore. No Sciences, but defeating sleeper enemies in the relics earns you merits. Okay, so yeah, you do have to go to the beacon and you do have to kill the enemies there. Gotcha. When entering a system, if the system is at war, you will now receive a prompt. When the system's war state is about to end, a prompt will also be issued in the chat interface 5 minutes in advance. Please avoid engaging with capsule leaders of other militia during that period. The highest rank has been raised from Major to Brigadier General. I think that's where you kind of have to be in order to get the highest amount of points you can hold in order to be able to get one of those Marshal blueprints, but which I believe is 10 million, if that's the new cap. Someone can tell me that. But so they raised that rank up a little bit. What's everybody's thoughts on faction warfare? Like it, love it, don't. I'm seeing everybody saying it's boring, and I think there's very few people actually doing it at this point. I don't know what people's overall consensus is, but I don't think it's really anything that's really for me. I was hopeful that it was going to be something that would get everybody involved in it, but I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Bradrick. Don't have the time for that. We're too involved with everything else going on. Yeah, and I mean the last 3-4 weeks we've had our own shit going on with Meow and everything else, but no time for that. I'll wait for let's see. Get rid of faction warfare. How will people get the new Concord? Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much all you do, Gojira. Yeah. Well, you're not in an alliance or anything either, so I mean that's riding around between Lulsec and Null. That's probably a good thing. At least I don't think you're in an alliance right now. Last I heard, I don't know. I haven't looked, or I don't look at your accounts. It doesn't really matter. But I think you said you'd left Adam or something, or maybe you're in btown's corp. Maybe that's what I heard someone say. But anyway, nope. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going off of whatever I've heard. I haven't looked myself. Rumors, yeah, rumors. Kind of like Damon Zell's videos. Anyway, I'm kidding. That wasn't too soon. I'm just kidding. I haven't heard Damon say anything for a while, so I just want to wake him up.
I'm still here. I'm just letting you talk. I know you love to hear your own voice.
Yes, I do. No, I don't. So balance updates when claiming insurance for freighters. Their ship type's been adjusted from a regular ship to a capital ship. Say what? Like that was actually a problem? These have been capital ships for forever. I remember when I built my first freighter which was a Sharon, you built it like a regular ship, and you actually had fittings in the low, like three low slot fittings, and then they fucked that up and got rid of all my rigs and integrated rigs and shit, and then all of a sudden I had capital rigs I had to put on the damn thing. Really pissed me off. Didn't realize that was still classified as a regular ship for IP. That's weird. The cooldown time for adding a bookmark has been increased to 1 minute. So this is a confusing line. It doesn't mean you have to wait a whole nother minute before adding another bookmark. It doesn't mean that. Frankly, I don't know what the hell it means, because I can go and add like 4 bookmarks pretty damn fast still, even after the update. So whatever. Yeah, it's a weird line. I know the Cloud explained this to somebody in the CC chat as far as what this actually meant, and I read it, and it went over my head, and I said whatever, because it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. And I don't think it really affects a normal pilot, I'll put it that way. The cooldown time, it is no longer possible to move up to 1,000 items to the ship cargo hold at once. I didn't know that there was even an upper limit, but now you can't do more than 1,000. I don't know. Contracts for some reason changed in the last like 6 months. It used to be over 200 that you can contract to somebody. Now it's exactly 200. That is the max of items you can contract to somebody at once. Is 200 items. I don't know when they changed that. It was some random number between 2 and 250, and I could never figure it out. But anyway. Sniper Destroyer got +1 mid-slot for the new tactical module for snipers, and same thing with cruisers. Sniper Cruisers got +1 mid-slot, so Vetamune's very happy about his Stabber Sniper. That's about all I can... Yeah, it used to be that Durgadur. Now it's an even flat 200. Yeah. Then, of course, we've got the Sky Patrol missions that came out and all the stuff that goes with that. More shit with it. The option boxes, so you can get the Marshal that way. We talked about that. Opening up to 50 times will guarantee the Marshal. If you can get it less than that, that's where that $180 value comes in. As if you open it 50 times or buy 50 boxes, that's $180 roughly. And then, of course, the Light Fighter mod for the rigs anyway for the carriers are there too, including a blueprint, not just the actual whole thing. And they released globally, I guess, the NetEase Pass. That was one of the optimizations. I hear it works really, really well. So there's that. If you were having issues with your authentication of your account, you can use the NetEase Pass to do that. And that's kind of it. The rest of this stuff is just some little things here and there. Space scan, base scan features now require abnormal scan authorization. Okay, that's cool. They still haven't fixed the thing, though, when you push a moonmine belt, the moon mining belt thing, to where it'll give you a timer on it or show that you've even pushed the button. They still haven't fixed that. That's exceedingly irritating. Guys, OC, Damon, you got anything else you want to add to these patch notes?
That was, well, you said the average cost was $180, right, to get a Marshal, right?
Yeah, I think that's that's the numbers I ran. I could be wrong or off. Someone said 150, but
what do you think is going to be the average price for a Titan in a box?
I hope they don't put a Titan in a box.
You know they're going to. Come on now.
Nah, they haven't put a Super in a box. Why would they put a Titan in a box? They'll put
items
in a box that you need for the Super, but they're not going to put the Super in the box.
They put a Super in a box for the lucky box. You could be the one lucky person who wins a Super, which garnered people to buy more boxes.
Yeah,
but
you're
directly
right.
in a box, probably not. But if they did, as a money grab, how much do you think the average cost would be?
Probably $10K. I mean, if you look at the Super Cores and how much they cost this last time around, upwards of $5,000 and $6,000 to get into the top of those events, because that's really what you're having to spend to get to the top of those events to get cores and all that other shit. It'd be double that. Which is gross and stupid, and one of the things I hate about the game. It is one of the things I hate about the game. There's very few things I hate about this game, but that's one of them. It's too far out there. It's dumb. If you want to limit the amount of ships you introduce into the game to where they're rare, there's other ways to do it. Like what they just did with the Marshal, basically. Make it almost unbuildable. Yeah, exactly, Lord of Toasters. It's kind of like how do you milk the game to death? That's pretty bad. Make it unbuildable. Yeah. Yep. Which, I mean, the Marshal is what the Marshal is. I think that's way too far. Maybe cut the amount of intermediate materials you need in half, and then it would kind of make sense to me. A little bit, 20 belts or so. It's a timetable grind kind of thing, but
you said it takes about 6 months to a year to build one. Currently, how it's built in the system right now?
No. What I was saying on that is on the Marshal, if you have 2 tunes fully skilled in making those intermediate materials, those 2 tunes would have to go nonstop for 46 days. The amount of material they need, though, is about 30 to 40 moon belts ran solely to that one player. Then you have
to build one ship.
To build one goddamn ship. Yeah.
Which will then probably get blown up 30 minutes after you take it out.
Exactly. So where you're getting that other thing is when you scale that to a Titan, the number of moon belts is like 400, and the amount of intermediate materials would take like 50 guys 6 months nonstop. That's where the scale is kind of scaring me on the Titan side for build. But anyway, it seems out of whack. It seems out of whack. We'll see what happens. And they could introduce needing those materials for the citadels as well, the keep stars. You're for sure going to need the enriched uranium to power them. I can just about guarantee that. I'd almost bet that you'll need the enriched uranium, and that'll be the only fuel to power a keep star. So there's lots of reasons to be doing moon mining.
Well, as a change of subject, since you did bring up the CC channel, did I hear right about Vetemune dipping back into the bag of going silent synchronizers again this past week?
Yeah, he did. Out of the blue. Well, he did it in the general chat. He didn't do it in CC chat, so I can talk about that. He did it in general chat where he dipped back into it again. He was like giving advice to like a new player or something, and he was just talking in general about things in the game, like trying to be like a helpful content creator, and decided to just throw that out there again to everybody right in the middle of those kinds of right in the middle of that conversation. So of course I jumped in and said, "What the fuck?" And jumped on him again to clarify, because that's not. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to let someone sit there and continue to throw out false accusations and lie about one of my pilots or about what Silent's position is or what we're going to do about pilots who do sync and do bot, especially to a whole base of new players who have no clue what's going on. And, of course, that really hurt his butt that I would defend one of my pilots again. Like, I don't understand that. What's so wrong with the executor of an alliance actually wanting to defend his pilots who did nothing wrong? So whatever. Yeah, I don't know why after a month he brings it up out of the blue, but he did. So.
I have a situation that you probably need to get off the computer for.
Okay.
There is a specific screenshot. Here it is. Okay, let me forward this.
I'll wrap it up.
I think this is appropriate.
You found it? I need to wrap this up. I got something that came up. The only thing I was going to say about eFrontier is there's another playtest coming up in November, which looks like a lot.
It's a long weekend. I am still under NDA, but I can say that your boy Damon almost got banned from the one-day stress test and future playtests. TCP was not happy with me.
Yep. That was fun, though. That was hilarious.
It was funny. Once the NDA is released, I'll be putting out all these bloopers and all the shenanigans that has been happening behind the scenes. But yeah, it's going to be a long weekend. It's going to run from the 7th to the 11th. Those that want to be a part of the playtest should go ahead on the website, register for it, and get on the Discord and sign the NDA and stuff like that, and you'll be able to get in there. We can't talk about the game, nor our impressions about the game itself, but I can say it is a ton of fun.
Yep. All right, with that, I'm going to have to close super quick. Sorry about that, but I got to run. As always, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Had a good full audience. Look forward to seeing you all of you guys again next week, and we'll catch up from there.
Right.
Thanks. Thanks, OC. Thanks, Damon.
Later, dude.
No problem.